what does a conversion ban on for the transgender thing mean? What does it actually ban?
The only thing it bans, very narrow set of practices. The only thing it bans is a therapist coming in and enforcing their own predetermined outcome and agenda on a child. Like saying,
So,
my objective in this therapy is to make you transgender or to make you no longer transgender. Either way, make you gay, make you not gay. I mean, it's basically all it's doing really is enforcing what are already very fundamental precepts of professional standards. The problem we have is that there's just a small group of very unethical therapists who do come in with that agenda. So it doesn't prevent at all any. In fact, all the statutes have language built in there that it doesn't prevent exploration of a child's identity development,
their possible gayness, their relationship to their parents, the possible being autistic.
all of that.
Another
None of that is banned by these statutes at all.
30% of the children referred for gender treatment in Britain were autistic, which is 10 times the national average, which suggests something else may also be going on here.
Yeah, it suggests that there's neurobiological underpinnings for these conditions. Yeah.
Yes,
I
but
mean,
they're being misdiagnosed.
Well, no,
They're
you
not
can
trans,
be
they're
both.
autistic.
They're
Yes,
not
it can
either
be
or,
both.
Andrew. Yeah, you can be both. And it would, I mean, the experts I've talked to have noted that it would that overlap wouldn't make sense given there's an enormous amount of evidence now, which is a substantial evidence, that part of what's going on with transgender identity is like a body image, body mapping issues, like a neurobiological condition, and which is similar for autism. So, yeah, it's
So how could you
some
tell they're just not
overlap there,
autistic and insisting in a fixation that they're suddenly this other sex and demanding now they've been told from an early age that they can, and, I mean, this is the other thing that concerns me is that the public education now tells children that whether you're a boy or a girl has nothing to do with your body. Right?
I was just talking with a therapist about that, about how asking how do you deal with patients who have autism, and it was very interesting to hear about that. But what she told me is that you have to make sure that child, young person, understands that symptoms that you could be interpreted as pointing towards gender dysphoria could simply be the result of autism, and you got to be really careful.
If they then realize the kid actually says, "Oh, well, maybe I'm autistic," then why is that not conversion therapy away from being trans?
No, it doesn't fit at all within the.
Well, if you were a gay kid and you suddenly thought, well, maybe, and you came to the conclusion that you may be heterosexual at the end of it, that would be conversion therapy, wouldn't it?
No, of course not. Of course not. No. Of course, therapists, part of what they're supposed to do is help kids explore and figure out.
But I think the
who they
worry
are
is that
and how they want to live their
the
lives.
therapists have been battered by the activists into not asking these questions, because to ask those questions is a form of transphobia.
Not the therapists I'm familiar with. Not at all. I mean, these are competent people who.
Well, if everything you say is true, then there should be absolutely no detransitioners at all.
Well, so
there are. So what I'm saying is that you're saying that there's some. You have to break a few you have to crack a few eggs to make some omelets. There has to be some victims in this.
No.
Well, then what are you saying?
No. I'm saying.
Is there a tolerable level of mistakes?
Andrew, I'll say again, I think it is profoundly unethical and irresponsible of us as adults and as a society to pit these kids against each other and to say that we're going to deny medically needed care to kids with a very real serious medical condition because of a concern about misdiagnosis. Like what we should be doing and what my experience these clinics
surely you don't want to give people the wrong medicine.
Look, the Alabama clinic, they've never had a person detransition.
Well, the trouble is, we don't actually The trouble is we also
we
don't
do.
know because these are quite new, these treatments, and follow-ups
Well,
for going on for another 10, 20, 30 years is what you need, just don't really exist. Because, in fact, and what also happened in Britain when they try to do the follow-up is the clinics won't give them any follow-up material. They refused. 6 of the 7 said no, which is also a little... Why would medical organizations refuse to give out all the data they have?
Look, I'm not sitting here defending the state of healthcare in the UK. It was abysmal. Kids were on the waiting list for years. They couldn't even get in to see anybody. And then it appears people were taking shortcuts by the time a kid got in. And I mean, that's a great deal of the CAS review is very specific to the abysmal
But there were more
situation
controls in Britain
UK.
than in the U.S. There were more controls in Britain than in the U.S.
I really don't know why you're saying that. That's not true. In the UK, as you know, is government controlled. There was one place to go. It was pitifully inadequate to meet the demand, and the care was substandard. In the U.S., we've got university-based clinics that are following, like with highly trained, skilled, qualified, responsible people who are following very careful standards of care. I mean, that's, you know, that
Well,
it's
that's
kind of
not
apples
been
and oranges.
that's not what I've been reading.